Hi everyone, it's Marissa from BumblebeeApothecary.com, and today I'm showing you how to make some Cheez-It knockoff crackers. So these are obviously going to be a lot healthier option than the store-bought processed Cheez-It crackers. They're also GAPS legal. And let's jump right into the recipe. The recipe that I'm using today is based on one from this Heal Your Gut cookbook. This is a nice cookbook to have if you're on the GAPS diet or just want to incorporate more healthy recipes into your eating. I'll have a link in the description box below so that you can find it if you want to grab your copy. I am making just a few little tweaks in this recipe to personalize it. I'm going to start by pulsing some dried shredded coconut that has no sweetener or any other additives added to it. And this is going to work as my type of flour for this recipe. Commercial coconut flour is not allowed on the GAPS diet because it's way too fibrous and it's irritating on a healing gut. But this is something that you can use. So I have 1 cup of shredded coconut and I'm just going to stick it in my food processor and blend it a little bit. Not too much because you don't want it to turn into coconut butter, but just enough to kind of grind it up into a little bit more of a finer consistency. I think that's good.
Can I feel?
Leave it in there though, okay? Because we need it for the recipe. Just feel it and then leave it in there.
It tastes yummy.
Next I'm going to add the rest of my dry ingredients. I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. You want to make sure it's a very clean garlic powder with no flow agents or starches or anything, you know, not allowed on GAPS. I'm also going to add 1/4 teaspoon of powdered turmeric. This is a nice natural way to give the crackers their nice orange color. And turmeric has great benefits. And next, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm using my favorite Baja Gold salt. They make it in different finenesses, coarsenesses. This one's a very fine one, so it's nice for mixing into something like this. So now I'm just going to pulse those to combine all those dry ingredients. I'm going to add an additional 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric just because I think we want this to be a little bit more of a vibrant orange color. We're not using cheese that's colored yellow, so we're just going to add a little more turmeric. Mix that in. Next I'm going to add some cheese. I'm going to be adding the next 3 ingredients gradually while the food processor is running. And I'm going to start with cheese. So I have shredded cheddar cheese. This is a really nice raw, truly raw cheddar cheese that you can get locally here, and you can also get it from Azure Standard. There'll be a link in the description box to Azure Standard where you can buy this same cheese.
But that's a lot of cheese.
It is. So I'm going to start by adding a little bit of the cheese at a time. We're going to be using 3 cups of shredded cheese total. So I'm just going to start with a bit and start grinding that in and add a little bit more. And then, since I already know how much this is, I'm not going to measure this time. I'm going to add a bit at a time. And then the last bit of cheese. So, like I said, 3 cups of shredded cheese total. And next I'm going to add 2 eggs. I'm just going to add 1 at a time. Blend that in. I'm going to add the 2nd egg. And blend that in. And last of all, 1/4 cup of softened butter. and then blend again to incorporate the butter. And now you can see it's really coming together as a dough type of a texture, and now it's ready to roll out and bake. So I'm going to be covering a baking sheet with some parchment paper. I normally like to use the more natural parchment paper, but I didn't have it on hand this time, so I'm just using the regular white. But anyway, I'm going to cover the pan with parchment paper. Then I'm going to put the dough on the parchment paper. Mm-hmm. Smells good. They're a really vibrant yellow color.
This one orange.
Yeah, I think they're more of an orange color if you use orange colored cheese. Have you seen that kind of cheese before? Maybe another time we'll try it with that. Then I'm going to take a second piece of parchment paper and put it over top of the dough. And at this point I can start to press the dough to spread it all over the pan. Use my hands first and then try to do some with a rolling pin as well. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Once the dough is spread out evenly on the pan, about typical cracker thickness, you can take the top layer of parchment paper off. And then I'm going to use my pizza cutter to just score lines for where we will break these up into little crackers later. I'm also going to take a skewer, a bamboo skewer, and just poke the middle of the cracker a little bit just to give them that look, and I think it helps them stay crispy when they have a texture on there like that.
I want to eat them.
Now I'm going to go put these in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven and bake them for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'm going to just reinforce those lines that I cut to define the cracker shapes. And then I'm going to put them back in the oven for another 10 minutes. When they come out of the oven this time, you can cut them again if you need to, but the goal here is going to be to separate them out into individual crackers so that they can crisp up. So I'm just going to go over my lines again. Once I've gone through and separated them all out, I'm going to put them back in the oven, this time with the heat turned off, and let them stay in there until they're nice and crisp. We really enjoy fun things like these crackers for a fun little treat sometimes. I hope that you guys enjoy them just as much. Check that description box for links where to buy ingredients. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else you think would like it. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out 2 new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.